Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Schla. And first things first, it's very strange finally getting to speak today. As when I woke up this morning, I think I woke up the latest I had ever woke up before. And as a result of that, I made a last minute decision to end up skipping the morning shift of car rides with Schla. And instead, I was going to eat my food while I was driving. Hopefully, this does not happen again, but I guess it gives me some level of reassurance to know that that is a possibility, since I think with the introduction of walk switch law, it is okay if I did that, because again my output is so high, it doesn't really matter. I'll just keep it. I know I was talking about last week upping it to 3 uploads a day. I'll probably just keep it at 2 uploads a day, and it'll probably end up working out okay. You know, it's just yeah. I mean, things have just been a little rough, needless to say, in my personal life, and more so in my personal brain. I mean, for some reason, again, like I no, I guess I was feeling pretty good at the end of last week, but this weekend, I don't really know if it was anybody's fault in particular, but still going by incredibly fast, and that just makes things difficult, you know? Just keeps feeling like it's been multiple weekends in a row that just go by very quickly, and I don't know. I don't really know what the problem is. Also, my food this morning for some reason tasted relatively gross. I have a feeling it's just because I put too much cheese in it. I also probably added a little more salt than last week, and also I think ended up cooking it a little bit too long due to I'm various, rushing, distraction, fatigue while cooking my food. So, yeah, there's like a lot going on. I think overall today, of any day so far, I think I literally feel like the worst that I have in a very long time. I just don't, again, I don't really know what's going on, but I don't know, like I've been saying I've been feeling tired, but I really feel like such a severe fatigue, and I don't really get it, because again, like nothing obvious happened. Like there's not really anything I can point to. It's just I don't know. I think my brain is just going through some kind of a weird time, and yeah, it's weird. It's been like a rough thing, but I hope the meat I made is okay, and it was just the like way too much cheese. I don't know why I thought it was so gross, but we'll see how my lunch portion tastes. I don't really know what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm usually very careful to cook the ground beef perfectly, so it's like minimal heat and just brown it, but still, ensure that it's brown, but, really be gentle with the cooking, like a perfect brown. And it's possible that I cooked it to a darker brown and probably don't like that as much. But I think the main thing is just the cheese I get. It's pretty strong, and when you use a lot of it, sometimes it can just be like pretty overwhelming. Um, So hopefully that is the problem. And today is November 23rd, I want to say. Or I think that maybe it's the 24th. I actually think it's the 24th. I think yesterday was Sunday, November 23rd, and today is Monday, November 24th. So, well, I got it close, but I mean, I didn't have to check. I know I'm correct now. I know I'm not going to check. I know it's the 24th. And yeah, I just don't really know. I don't know. It's weird because I remember last week things were kind of ramping up. I know it was like pretty rough in the middle of the week. Oh, right, because there was the traffic but I think a lot of the mental fatigue, it hasn't really been replenished. And yeah, I'm thinking about making some I don't even want to get the overtime. Like, I kind of would like to just leave work, but again, I really can't. I don't think I can mentally let myself do that. You know, like I mean, there's those two axes I've talked about where money is really the only thing that can give me enjoyment, because buying and purchasing things it's just such a joy for me. I know it sounds very like cliche, but it's really not. I mean, I like researching and getting these, really high quality or special things, and it is genuinely addicting. And coupled with that, I have a lot of stress about scarcity and running out of money and things like that. So it's just the way my brain's wired, because I'm not really well, I guess I can be materialistic, but I'm more spiritual than materialistic, in the sense of, I understand, like, I'm grateful for what I have and stuff, and that most people can't really do what I do, and it's not necessarily a result of poverty, it's a result of executive functioning. So because I'm able to just plan out my food, saves like a bajillion dollars, because people, even if you just get like 1 or 2 takeout meals a week, that like adds a significant amount to your expenses. Whereas I'm just eating like ground beef, and yeah, the cheese I get is expensive as a treat, but I only get like 2 pounds of the cheese a week. So it's not, I mean, even though it's really expensive cheese, doesn't really add up to a crazy amount, and it's still cheaper than, again, just like one meal out, so you have to figure that. Yeah, so I honestly think gratitude and like material success, a lot of it does have to do with executive functioning, but there are a majority of people, I think, where executive functioning doesn't really matter, because they're just paycheck to paycheck anyway. But I'm saying there is still, I think, a slice of America, I would say I'm included in that, where you are effectively middle class, and it mainly just has to do with you're living in a house, your parents, or elsewhere, but it's probably your parents, and you don't have to pay rent, because not having to pay any type of rent and working a full-time job, I mean, it doesn't really matter how little your pay is, because my pay is pretty low. You're probably going to look fine, and you're probably going to look solidly middle class, just because housing cost is like the main lever of expense in America, So yeah, it's kind of, I really think that's it. So I'm definitely solidly in that cohort. And yeah, I was thinking about that today, because it's just definitely true. Like, living in America as somebody who doesn't need to pay rent and just has access to consistent full-time work, there is something special to that. I think it's definitely something to be very grateful for, as I'm realizing, I always realize, but I just think about it, how like really not that many people have that opportunity. And especially young people. I know unemployment is fairly high with young people, and it's due to a host of issues. It's due to job scarcity and older people just getting prioritized because they're going to be older, having more experience, etc. Companies really are not as incentivized or interested in hiring younger people right now. And then in addition to that, the younger generation, it's plagued by some mental health issues and whatnot, So, yeah, I kind of feel like being a little bit inflammatory for some reason. I feel like it's because I'm so numbed out right now. I kind of want to say something mean to try to cut through some of the numbness I feel, but don't take it personally. Don't take what I'm saying personally. I just want to say something loud and inflammatory and controversial. But before I say that, I did want to mention a strange thing has happened where I'm getting pretty into rock music now, which has never really been the case before. So that is pretty strange and interesting. I don't really know why, but that's kind of where we're at now. I've been listening to a lot of rock music, and it kind of started, I feel like it just started last week. Can't really remember exactly, but I think it hasn't even been a week, but it's already felt like a really long time. So we'll see if the rock thing is just a phase or if that's actually like a genre that I like. I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting, but during because it wasn't a car ride switch law, it was a silent breakfast switch law this morning, I really had that rock music loud and my ears were, having the ringing. So that I was kind of upset that I did that to myself because I'm usually a little more mindful than that. But something I notice, and I mean, maybe it's a fairly stupid observation, but I guess I never really thought about it before. I always assumed that modern music was the loudest, if that makes any sense. I just assumed that to be the case. So rap probably as being louder, but that's obviously not true, and it's obvious that rock is, and I'm assuming it's because of more noise in the mids, more constant and detailed and loud sounds in the middle hertz ranges. Sorry, something fell in my eye, so I'm just very not happy right now. And really in general, don't be surprised if today's episodes I'm just not really that enthusiastic unless some kind of very dramatic mood change happens, just because like I said, I literally feel I feel horrible today. I don't understand what is going on. And I think the worst part is there's not really much to do. I don't really think there's anything I want to buy. I can't even really think of it right now of things I want to buy, which is a good thing. Honestly, I can't say that that's a bad thing, because I do want to be saving for 2026. I want that to be my saving year, so I can just save up a lot of money and kind of feel safer and more comfortable. And so it's not a bad thing, but it's hard because then it's there's not really a lot to feel good about. I don't know. I would be okay with spending a little bit of money if it made me feel good right now, if it made me feel something, but I genuinely think there is not really anything for me to get. I can think of some things, but nothing that would really give me that much joy. So, now, I did want to start talking about something else, but now I'm not. There was that inflammatory thing I wanted to say, and it's just like, what is the purpose? And I don't think I'm going to have any energy to paste this into GPT. I might just text it to GPT, because the rest of this dialogue doesn't, well, I probably should put it into GPT, but I'm very tired. I really don't feel like doing that. But my whole question is like, is there really a reason for ugly people to wear makeup? I mean, if somebody's ugly, and look, like, don't take this the wrong way. Sorry, look, I'm saying I know it's inflammatory, I know it's mean, I know it's controversial. We're being mindfully inflammatory, okay? I feel very numb. I feel dead, so I'm saying outrageous things to try to combat that or to strike something. But I just realized it today. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And I know people might say I'm being like materialistically judgmental, and why? Well, I would say in regards, I mean, I don't really support makeup as a whole. I really don't think it makes any sense. It's a very it's an unhealthy industry. It's likely unethical. I haven't really looked into it, but I'm assuming most of the sourcing and stuff, it's probably a lot of cheap, like, chemical-y things that, support, like, slave labor and other, like, unethical practices, which, again, I know technology does, and that is an issue. I would be happy to pay, like, twice as much for an iPhone if I knew it was made in good conditions. I would want to do that. But I think tech is different, because tech is hedging on the future of humanity, which is very different than just like, oh, I want to put eyeliner on, or these other things. And, clothing and all these things, like, they're materialistic and they do nothing. They don't. Whereas tech, I see it as like a necessary evil, but I would be fine with better conditions. I hope someday we can have, I think really American manufacturing should have gotten into tech and stuff, but with good laws, because I don't even know if America doesn't really have the best worker laws. But regardless, to stay on track, this whole point about the ugly people wearing makeup, I just don't really get it. I mean, is that wrong to think that like doesn't really make sense? I mean, for an ugly person to spend money on eyeliner, to spend money on painting their nails, to spend money on expensive clothes, what is the point? What is the point? I guess it makes you look better. So, you're looking better, which hedges your bets better in the dating market and other things like that. But I don't even like any of that stuff either. Like, I think the whole competitive nature of people and the egoistic nature of people is terrible to begin with. And that's kind of my whole point is it's like casting pearls before swine, except in more of a literal sense. Like, when I say that, I know that I'm not really using the term properly, but you imagine like a pig casting pearls before swine, like a pig wearing like a pearl necklace and pearl earrings and all these things. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. I don't understand what the purpose of that is. I mean, it does make, on one end of the spectrum, maybe it would make sense for like a very small percentage of humans who are like literally models as their career to wear makeup, because it's like we're kind of seeing the full extent that beauty can go. And I guess I kind of support that, just because it's like you could probably make sure all that makeup is ethically produced, and it's not just wasting a bajillion resources on like mass market stuff. And again, it's someone who's a model, so that's like their whole career is that, and so that kind of makes sense, because I am interested in seeing humanity at its best, and that's, I think, a relevant expression of that. But I guess what I disagree with is access to these consumeristic things for the masses. I mean, even technology, like Apple or any of these companies, but I'll just say Apple because it's like obvious big example. The iPhone did not need to be like a mass consumption thing. I mean, there's basically, oh my gosh, I need to like run, but I don't have the energy to run back. I just accidentally took such a long break. I didn't even realize. I mean, it's not going to be like terribly long, but I just like I said, I'm kind of out of it. So it's going to be the longest accidental I've ever done. I just like glanced at my time and was like, wow, that's really not very good. But yeah, it's basically like Apple. I don't understand the point of mass marketing tech. It's like, think about the amount of waste that went into TVs and all these things, and they weren't even good, like the CRT TVs. That was just so much wasted material that you could have just waited until we got better at producing it. And I know like they needed the sales of those to fund those companies to make further R&D, but I think it would have been better if there was just like, people just got taxed research and development for like television and tech out of their taxes, and the government just funneled it into like research companies, and then we would have a way less e-waste, and maybe now we would start mass producing it, because now it's like by the time you're at the iPhone 17 Pro, it's like the iPhone's finally actually ready for like the smartphone, I mean, is finally in its final stage where the screen, it's really endgame. I mean, they're gonna be able to make it look better, but it's essentially endgame. A lot of tech is very like endgame right now, where it's finally refined enough. It's finally at its like good point. With like I think around the 16 Pro to the 17 Pro. So the 2025, 2024, 2026 batch of smartphones really. It took this long, but everything else before now is just kind of e-waste. And you could even give it a couple more years before you actually had like mass release of things. So I guess that's what I mean about stuff. Like, I don't see what the benefit is of making a bunch of unnecessary things mass available. It just seems silly, stupid, and yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not really articulating this right, and I'm being mindfully inflammatory, so I don't really mean to bruise anyone or actually hurt any feelings, and I apologize if I did, because I'm really not trying to be that way. Like I said, I'm just in a mental funk, and I wanted to just, it was a thought, it came over my mind, I just wanted to say it, I just wanted to pierce it out there, just wanted to stir the pot. But you know, if I'm wrong, let me know. It's fine. I'll take. This was my bad. You know, this wasn't a bright moment. If it's that egregious, I mean, maybe it's not egregious, but I'm saying if it is, flame me for it. You know, I'll take the burn. I'll take the burn for this one. I'm not thinking I'm innocent or anything like that. I know what this moment was, and I have no problem apologizing for it. So. Anyways, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.